Full disclosure, I was not able to achieve this theoretical maximum, as the strategy that makes it possible is impossibly strict. However, let's still ask the question, what is the maximum amount of assisted/unopposed attacks possible in one turn? With Lindai Ryoshu's arrival into Limbus Company, she brings with her two familiar but very interesting mechanics. That is a follow-up attack when specific HP thresholds are met, and a follow-up attack after an ally attacks. Basically, she is a defensive version of Al Gregor that has special interactions with Hong Lu. So, step aside, Ahab Mael. This is how you enable other people to commit violence. So let's focus our attention on the fact that she is similar to Al Gregor, and lean towards the follow-up attack mechanics that she offers. If we are to capitalize on hers and Al Gregor's mechanics to focus on a composition that leans into the follow-up mechanics, this is what it would look like theoretically. In theory, here is the list of potential follow-up attacks that can happen with this composition. Umasang, who triggers a follow-up for Shishmael using his condition skill 3, Lord Lu, who triggers a follow-up for Shishmael using his Lord of Hongyuan passive, Shishmael, who triggers a follow-up for Shishmael, which makes her use her skill 2 upon returning, Lord Lu, who has two follow-ups with his skill 3, a Heisho skill 3 and a combination skill 3 between Lord Honglu and the Heisho. Ryoshu, who triggers a follow-up for herself and others using H.B.O. and A.S. up to 2 times per encounter. And lastly Gregor, who triggers a follow-up for himself and others using his Mercy, up to twice per turn. That is 10 potential follow-ups, though in practice, with the incredibly finite window of opportunity, this is likely going to be around 5 or 7. Or maybe even 6 or 7 follow-up attacks. There, I said it, laugh, leave a like or some shit. Anyways, the main difficulty is in its timing, as it is hard to perfectly time an ally or Hong Lu dying or getting hit with 25% or less HP. Furthermore, the need for Hong Lu's skill 3 and Umasang's empowered skill 3 alongside working with Gregor's fickle wounding mechanic. Like I said, the window of opportunity for this to happen is incredibly small, as in the same turn you would need the enemy to have a fatal wound and be staggered, an ally dying and or Lord Lu getting hit while under 25% HP, Hong Lu's skill 3, Ishmael having returned from substitution in that same turn, and Umasang to have 5 Stride Breaker while using his skill 3. While it is fortunate that Umasang can hold on to the Stride Breakers for the appropriate time to cast skill 3, the main pressures to this setup is mostly Gregor, and the rarity of skill 3s in general. This setup requires that before the turn of execution, you would need to activate Gregor's Fatal Wounding by using skill 1 on one turn, skill 1 or 2 on the next, and then a skill 3 on the third turn. Then once you have Fatal Wounds within 3 turns, you would need to have an ally and Hong Lu to be right under the threshold of 25% HP, but not hit before the appropriate time, as this passive only triggers once per encounter. Then you would need to have a skill 3 for Umasang and Hong Lu ready. Then on the turn of execution, have Ishmael return, mainly by means of using Hong Lu's retreat order mechanic, which means that his S3 has to be queued at the right time in order for you not to turn it into his defense coin the turn prior. If all goes according as planned, the turn of execution of what would happen is as follows. Ishmael returns, then on combat start she uses Crimson Strike Launcher, which triggers H.B.O. Then she casts her skill 3 from Hong Lu, which triggers Mercy from Gregor if the enemy is under 20% HP. Then Lord Lu's skill 3, which triggers a Heisho skill 3, which triggers their team attack. Then Umasang's skill 3, which triggers Shishmael's skill 3. At some point as well, Hong Lu and another ally needs to either die or get hit while under 25% HP to trigger 2 aiding strikes from Ryoshu. Lastly, Al Gregor's skill 2 or 3, which then triggers his final mercy. Now, an intelligent, astute, and tactical viewer who have watched this video might say that it would be more consistent for Al Gregor to have a turn by not using a full team for the extra skill slots. But unfortunately, this composition requires a retreating unit to leave and return. And seeing as the retreat mechanic just banishes the unit from the encounter if there are no substitutions available, this means that a maximum amount of slots must be used, meaning only one attack opportunity per turn if it is a focused encounter, which it would need to be in order to accurately stack wounding for Gregor. And so we are left to the mercy of probability in terms of getting 3 skill 3 coins within the appropriate time. And if we are to attempt and receive a partial result, this is what it would look like.
날개를 펼치고 발톱을 털어
닭봉참
혈염도 바로 뭐야
그러지.
내 뒤.
이것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지.
말로 바람을
별로 없잖아.
저 해수들을 도려내 물 넘고 거꾸로 제철 오야 길을 열어라 자세가 모르겠니? 넘고 넘고 무수히 넘고 얼마든지 또 제쳐라
호랑이를 잡으려고 했으면 누구도 잡아 맥힐 각오를 했어야지.
도망친다고 달라질 운명은
Unfortunately, I was not able to achieve the full theoretical maximum of 10 follow-ups. But if you do manage to successfully pull this off, first of all, if you are of legal age, go buy a lottery ticket because surely the odds are in your favor. And then send a video to the Discord chat, as I would love to see the extremely niche and impractical strategies that I throw out to the world actually come to fruition. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to drink plenty of water.